Good morning, and welcome to the 138th commencement exercises for Wicomico High School, recognizing the class of 2020. It is my pleasure to introduce the names of several board members that will be taking part in our graduation today. Dr. Eugene Malone, Vice Chairman of the Wicomico County Board of Education, and Ms. Ann Brittingham-Zufowski, member of Wicomico County Board of Education and a member of Y-High's first graduating class, 65 years ago. Taking part in our graduation ceremony today will be the following: Dr. Donna Hanlon, Superintendent of Wicomico County Public Schools; Mr. Ron Green, Principal; Ms. Tessa Jensel, Dean of Students; Ms. LaVon Bratton, Assistant Principal; Ms. Georgine Franzak, Assistant Principal; and Mr. Ken Pop, Assistant Principal. As students, we've had the opportunity to access an excellent educational program due to the dedication and enthusiasm exhibited daily by our teachers. We thank you all. I also wish to acknowledge Aaron Crispin, our Spanish teacher, and Karen Scott, our media specialist, for serving as our senior class advisors this year. Even though we are in an unprecedented time, and we've had to reinvent graduation this year, it is still a pivotal moment in our lives, and we are so glad to have made it to this day. Class of 2020, family and friends, join me in saying thank you to all who have made this day possible. We are pleased to welcome you to Wicomico High School's commencement exercises.
Good morning. After 4 years of challenge and exploration of our identity, we have finally reached the end of our high school journey. However, you cannot deny that you did not reach this feat on your own. Our class has been guided and led by countless adults, whether they be teachers or family. Plenty of work has been done behind the scenes by the adults in our lives to make our high school experience the best it could be. It is time we thank them for their dedication and work they have provided to make irreplaceable memories for our class. The first big thank you we must give to each of our families, whether they be parents, guardians, siblings, or pets. They are the reason each one of us is here today. They gave us that extra push to help us achieve our goals. Family support is something we should cherish, as they will do anything to help us succeed. Another thank you we must give is to the teachers of Wicomico High School, who have guided our class 1 year at a time. Our teachers not only do their job quite exemplary, but they also go the extra mile to ensure our learning experience is as smooth as possible. From grading every student's papers to helping us achieve milestones and goals, they truly are unsung heroes. We thank you for all that you have done for our class. Another big part of our class's time here are our awesome SGA advisors, Ms. Chrisman, Ms. Scott, and Ms. Matthews, Ms. Wilbank, Ms. Schmidt, Mr. Thompson, and Ms. Alt for all the hard work they have done in setting up and planning events for our class. Although some were unfortunately canceled due to a certain event, we cannot deny their help has been invaluable in past years of dances and other events. Another group of marvelous people we take for granted are our guidance counselors, the group behind the magic of college applications, scholarships, and deadlines. Their help with college has proven amazing, with plenty of us going to our dream schools. Wicomico High School's administration and staff have always been able to help us in every issue we face for a smooth, clean high school experience. Last but not least, a thank you needs to be owed to the staff that went the extra mile in coaching sports and running clubs. The sports and academic clubs gave us students an escape from normal school life, introducing us to different areas we could find success. For that, we are very thankful. This high school experience will be with us our entire lives. We thank everyone for helping us through this wild ride. Thank you and congratulations to the class of 2020.
Every graduation speech I've ever heard has had the same line: "We've made it." But this isn't a typical graduation, and I'm not going to pretend it is. So, class of 2020, let me begin with this. Congratulations on turning the task, but we haven't made it. Maybe we took for granted that we'd have a fitting conclusion to our senior year, and that we would be able to enjoy these final months and events as the class we have grown into over 4 years. But that didn't happen. At least not in the way we played it out hundreds of times in our heads. Instead, we got distance learning, face masks, and a tsunami of uncertainty and vagueness. The experiences that drove us for 4 years were snatched from us. But worst of all, there was nothing we could do about it. It took me a while to see anything meaningful in the bleak end to such an amazing journey. But as the anger and frustration started to clear, I found it. A C.S. Lewis quote that is the silver lining to this very dark cloud. Hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. Class of 2020, we made it through the most unprecedented senior year in recent history. We took a situation far greater than any one of us, and we haven't let it stop us. This certainly isn't the ending anyone would have wished for, let alone predicted, but we got through it together. And here we are, at the starting line to the rest of our lives, apart yet together, a group that is so much stronger than any championship, any prom, any pomp and circumstance could have created. We are so much stronger today because of the hardships we overcame. If we say, we've made it, right now, we're settling for an ending with which no one should be content. We can't end here. This isn't the finish line. Class of 2020, I beg you not to throw away the opportunity of this situation. Take the experiences we've had, those that a classroom didn't give us, but that a virus forced us into, and use them as tools to help us reach our own extraordinary destiny. Let our futures be as unprecedented as our senior year. Let this class, our class, be the people that make the changes we spent so long wishing would have been made. Now more than ever before, the world is our oyster, anxiously awaiting the group that will finally solve its ever-persisting problems. The eyes of the planet are on us, waiting to see how we will react to the hand we have been dealt. Play it better than anyone is expecting. Don't wallow in the gloom, but move on and move out into the light of our futures. Be the leaders in public health. Find the solution to the economic downturn. Create the vaccine to end all viruses. Be the policymakers that protect our schools, or the counselors that really listen. Be the parents that take pride, or the community members who are involved. Be the people that care. Do the things that you wish would have been done for you, and do them not for yourselves. Do them not in vengeance or in spite, but do them as a favor to the future, a simple act of kindness. Don't seek anything in return, but rather let the satisfaction of being the change fulfill you. Show the world that we are bigger than any one event. Don't let our class be defined by what stood in our way, but rather by what we did about it. Promise yourselves today that you will be the reason the world changes tomorrow, and know that this entire class stands with you. Promise yourselves that you won't let this be an obstacle that keeps you from attacking the next stage of life head on. Promise yourselves that you will be different. After all, breaking the mold is the hard part, and that has already been done for us. Class of 2020, we haven't made it, but that's the backwards, inside-out beauty of our situation. Take what we've missed, the experiences we didn't have, our unfinished business, and know that we haven't made it yet, but we will. And because of the fuel we've been given and the knowledge and strength we've gained from weathering this storm together, we will make it so much further than anyone could have ever imagined. Class of 2020, we haven't made it, but we should feel more confident now than ever that absolutely nothing can stand in our way.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here today as the historian of Wacomico High School's class of 2020. I would first like to take a moment to congratulate everyone here today. It has been quite a journey, and a great amount of effort has gone into getting us here. Everything happened as fast as a blink of an eye. It seems only yesterday that we were forcing our minds to remember where our next class would be, and looking clueless to all the upperclassmen. Before we leave, let's start looking back to our moments together. We leave the rooms filled with our joy, our earnings, our tears, and all our experience as brothers and sisters. It seems so long ago, most of us entered Wacomico High School in 2016, anxious and determined to finally be out of middle school and experience the freedom of high school. In our first student government, we had Camden Wynn, Aaliyah Laughlin, and Max Sweeney. These dedicated students helped organize the very first homecoming of our high school career. This year, for many, was when we took our very first advanced placement class and began learning about different career options through the ATEX program. As we began to get involved in our new school, we were ready to continue high school and see success just as great as this. We evolved from clueless freshmen to become sophisticated sophomores who owned knowledge. Our sophomore year consisted of student government officers, Aaliyah Laughlin as president, Miriam Kawaja as our vice president, Camden Nagoyan served as our secretary, and Max Sweeney served as our treasurer. By this time, most had already experienced the first football game, homecoming, and showed school spirit through our spirit weeks and pep rallies. Most of us were inducted this year into honor societies at the school, such as Science National Honor Society, Alpha Theta, and National Honor Society. This year, we were also introduced to our very first talent show. And who could forget the infamous single ladies routine done by Mr. Pages and Mr. Harvey during one of our pep rallies. By the time we reached our junior year, we were eager to rule the school as we felt prepared to lead on for the graduating seniors. The school year began as any other, with the banter of new freshmen coming in and meeting up with friends we missed throughout the summer. The student government consisted of Reese Chang as our class president, Max Sweeney as our vice president, Camden Nagoyan as secretary, and Miriam Kawaja as treasurer. And with the rest of the SGA, we planned a one-of-a-kind homecoming featuring the haunted house and Mr. Scott and Reese Chang chasing everyone with a chainsaw. During the winter, our boys basketball team found success as they became Bayside and regional champions, as well as our math team winning the county title. Around the same time, our academic team won first place in the academic challenge hosted at Warwick Community College. And our newly formed anime club organized the school's first Comic-Con. Although junior year was a success and brought new opportunities for many, the year had not begun like that. A little after coming back from summer break, we had a close friend of ours taken from us before she could experience the life she had ahead of her. We struggled with the untimely death of a classmate and understanding why. Diana deserved to be here with us today. Long may she rest in peace, knowing she will not be forgotten by her friends and family. Senior year was a new beginning for our class. We were finally able to rule the school as the most experienced class. Our student government consisted of Aaliyah Laughlin as president, Daniel Davis as vice president, Dennis Killian as treasurer, Taylor Jacobs as secretary, and myself as class president, class historian. I'm sorry. As the new year rose, our SGA officers from the previous years had become part of the executive board, effectively steering all the SGA. With Reese Chang as president, Lydia Bailey as first vice president, Miriam Kawaja as second vice president, Camden Nagoyan as secretary, and junior Jeff Pontejour as treasurer. Our homecoming was Purple Rain, a purple-themed homecoming based on Prince's hit song. Our fall and winter sports were mostly successful in their season, with new recruits from the freshman class. The year was going great, and the senior trip and planning for prom was nearly finalized. It all changed when the coronavirus pandemic made its way into our state. In March, we were pulled out of school, and all events from the senior year were canceled, as large gatherings were not allowed. This was a devastating reality for our class. We were holding on to a string of hope that we would be able to experience what our parents, siblings, and friends had experienced during their senior year. It is and was a tough time for our senior class. Although our time together was cut short, no high school memory will fade as we remember not the semesters, but the friendships we shared among us and the time we shared together. We started high school as children. We overcame our lack of knowledge, and now we leave this place as adults. We have completed building our basics that will help us overcome the future. Some of us will continue to study, and others will go straight to work, and each of us will walk our own path. It doesn't matter where we are heading or what we accomplish. I assure you, there are challenges waiting for us. I dare to ask yourself and myself to defeat those challenges straight on with your head you with your head held high and your heart open and protected. The path through life is difficult and hostile. I encourage you to try to excel in anything you do. Beyond each one of you, there are at least a dozen of individuals providing support in vast and unlimited ways. The best way we can show our gratitude is to stand here and graduate and continue forward in our lives knowing that you all helped us. Thank you for your intentions to make the world a better place. I would like to thank the faculty at Y High who played a large part in shaping us into who we are today, and for their contribution and experiences we will always remember when we think of Y High. From the basketball team's journey to the state finals, to our homecoming dances, to our pep rallies and blood drives. All of us were able to come together as one tribe and make memories that will help us shape our own journeys here at Y High. I remember your friendships, which you gave me to enjoy these last 4 years. Some stood casual, but others were so much closer. I will deeply remember each one of you, as I am sure you all also will. Congratulations, beloved graduates of class of 2020.
Good morning, class of 2020. I bet that everyone would not have thought that our senior year would be ending like this. 4 years ago, we walked through the front doors of Y High and began our journey as high school students. And I am so glad to have spent these few years with all of you. Now, it's sad to say that our last days as high school students will be spent at home and our graduation over the internet. I encourage all of you to not let this affect your feelings on our confusing senior year. If it helps, we can look at this second semester as the best senior skip day the world has seen. This class is one of the first to have the attacks of 9/11 taught as history. In our lifetime, multiple events have happened, such as Apple releases an iPod, the second Gulf War occurs, Hurricane Katrina destroys New Orleans, social networking gets big, Obama becomes the first African American president, a terrorist group, ISIS, attacks the United States, same-sex marriage is legalized, but that's not all. We grew up while history was being made, but now that we are adults, it is time for us to start writing it. Our class motto is, "History will be kind to me, for I intend to write it." We get to write our history, but better than that, we get to write our futures. Whatever you aspire to be, I know it will be great, for we are the class of 2020, the class that survived Corona. But we shouldn't let that define our class. We should be the class that has risen above. I would say look at the person next to you, because one of them could be the next president or the next NFL superstar. But we are stuck at home quarantining. We are the future, and it looks to me like it's going to be a good one. The quarantining is not our future. It's a hurdle that we have to overcome in order to show our greatness. I want to wish everyone who is graduating this year a successful and wonderful future, because one day we'll look back at our history and remember how amazing we are. We are the class of 2020, and we will be legendary. We are legendary, and we will walk across the track with pride and hope because we finally made it.
Seniors, parents, relatives, friends, board members, administrators, teachers, staff, and community members. It is my tradition to share my commencement comments each spring through a favorite book with a compelling message that speaks to me and would be meaningful for our seniors at this important milestone. And while this year is far from traditional, my love of literature and the messages found within continues. I usually go through many options to find just the right one with the right message. Several weeks ago, I picked up this book and looked no further. Charlie Mackesy has written and illustrated a modern fable titled The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse that is inspirational and provides the hope we all need in these uncertain times. The author brings together these four strangers to share universal lessons on friendship, kindness, optimism, and as one reviewer suggested, a wonderful look into the human heart. Thank you to my colleague Andrea, who gave me this beautiful book this past winter. Neither of us knew how our lives were about to be turned upside down. No one had any idea how our circumstances would change so dramatically as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, making the human heart so much more visible and vulnerable. Just as these characters have done in Mackessy's book, we've faced adversity on life's journey and have had the opportunity to ponder many questions. While doing so, we've learned about the importance of connections and courage and hope, and have found our own silver linings. The characters represent different parts of being human. The boy is inquisitive. The mole is enthusiastic but greedy. The fox has been hurt, so is withdrawn from life and slow to trust, but he wants to be part of the world. The horse represents the deepest, wisest part in us, our soul. Together they share universal feelings, familiar to us all. Especially in this time, I found this look into the human heart and spirit to be reassuring. Seniors, you came into this world on the heels of the 9/11 tragedy and the war on terrorism, and you have very sadly ended your senior year in a way that is stranger than any of us could have ever imagined. I feel your disappointment. Our high school years are some of the best times of our lives, and I hope you'll treasure the many memories you have of spending time with friends, attending athletic events, going to dances, performing in concerts and musicals, and of course, learning in the classroom. It devastates me that this important time in your lives was cut short before senior prom and the traditional commencement. We know that this virtual graduation can't replace what you've lost, but a huge life lesson is that some things cannot be changed, and you learn to turn adversity into promise. As the mole in the fable tells us, one of the greatest illusions in life is that it's perfect. My hope is that, like the characters in Mackessy's fable, you will grow stronger in spite of these challenges. You will be more resilient as a result of the disappointments you've faced, and you will see your own optimism, courage, and connections with those you love strengthened exponentially. The author engages the reader through beautiful illustrations, through the building of their unlikely friendships as they interact, learn to trust one another, and discover what's important in life, and through questions that they pose to one another as they travel together in what might be considered life's path. And every question is worth pondering. The inquisitive boy asks near the beginning of his journey with the mole, "What do you think success is?" And the mole responds, "To love." A bit further, the boy asks, "What do you think is the biggest waste of time?" And the mole responds, "Comparing yourself to others." Most old moles I know wish they had listened less to their fears and more to their dreams. Further along the way, the mole asks, "What is your best discovery?" And the boy responds, "That I am enough as I am." Later, after meeting both the fox and the horse, when their friendship and trust have grown, the boy asks, "What do we do when our hearts hurt?" And the wise horse, who represents our soul, suggests, "We wrap them with friendship, shared tears, and time till they wake hopeful and happy again. And my favorite provocative question posed by the boy is, what's the bravest thing you ever said? And the astute horse responds, help. And he goes on to tell the boy that he is his strongest when he's been willing to show his weakness. That asking for help isn't giving up, it's refusing to give up. And that is indeed a very powerful lesson, especially during these challenging times. I can honestly tell you that as superintendent, I haven't always wanted to ask for help, because I assume that others need to see that I am always brave and confident in leading Wicomico County Public Schools. If I have learned anything during this time, it is the importance of relying on my team, every teacher, staff person, board member, and administrator, and my colleagues across the state. And because of my willingness to ask for help, I am stronger. We are stronger as a school system, and relationships have strengthened in the most unlikely places, just as with the characters in Mackesie's fable. And I've gotten a more intimate look into the human heart as I have read and responded to notes of desperation from parents who are really struggling. And when those parents have shown their bravery by asking for help, our staff have reached out with such compassion and understanding, a true testament to our love and concern for the well-being of our students and families. Just as in the fable, when the boy falls in the river and his friends save him, the horse reminds the others that everyone gets scared, but it's less scary together. So what does all this have to do with you today as you become graduates of Wicomico County Public Schools? Everything. Remember when earlier this school year you couldn't wait for this year to be over, for high school to be done? None of us participating in or watching this virtual commencement ceremony will ever forget the importance of not taking what we have for granted. You have arrived at this milestone despite a suddenly rocky road in your last 2.5 months. But as the wise horse shares with his newfound friends, when the dark clouds come, keep going. Travel on in spite of the obstacles and the rough terrain. When the big things feel out of control, focus on what you love right under your nose. Dance in the rain. The storm will pass. On behalf of Wicomico County Public Schools and the 7-member Board of Education, congratulations on all of your accomplishments as you transition from seniors to high school graduates. We wish you the best and hope that you realize all of your hopes and dreams and plans for the future.
Good morning, class of 2020. I want to first say that I and many others, including your parents, family, and staff, are extremely proud of each and every one of your accomplishments and want to congratulate you on receiving your Wicomico High School diploma. The fact that we are not all here together, sharing hugs and handshakes with family, friends, staff, sitting in a crowd, with all the pomp and circumstance, should not diminish how proud you should be of yourself. Graduation is an exciting and special time in your life. It is the culmination of all your hard work and the efforts during the last 12 years. This graduation, your graduation, is special for a couple of reasons. Being a former history teacher, I want to point out that you are living through a period of time that your children will learn about and one day be in the history books. I also want to point out that this year's graduation, which is very different from many others' graduations, is my first graduation as a new principal. Because of the circumstances, we will never forget this day. I also want to point out that you, the class of 2020, were freshmen my first year at Wahai as an assistant principal. When I look back and think about it, I can remember how small some of you were, how scared you looked. That first day of freshman, and how at the freshman barbecue, many of you felt that high school was going to take forever to get through. Well, you made it. Those 4 years flew by, and now you're getting ready to start the next chapter of your lives. In looking back at the 4 years, I want you to think about the obstacles and adversity you faced along the way, and there were probably a lot. Whether it was a poor test score due to not studying enough, the fumble in the big football game, the line you forgot in the drama performance, how you played that one note off key during a concert, or making a poor decision and receiving some type of consequence. We all encounter problems or adversity while traveling through our life's journey. But through all these situations, you still made it. Our current situation is no different. Yes, we all would have loved to be a part of this journey differently. Your senior year should have ended much differently, and yes, we all would have loved to have had a traditional graduation ceremony. But this, like other situations in life, you all made up for it. You picked yourselves up, and you made a decision to work harder and push yourselves, and ultimately make it to this point. As basketball legend Kobe Bryant stated, those times when you get up early and you work hard. Those times when you stay up late and you work hard. Those times when you don't feel like working, you're too tired, and you don't want to push yourself, but you do it anyway. This is actually the dream. That's the dream. Not the destination, it's the journey. And if you guys can understand that, then what you will see happen is you won't accomplish your dreams. Your dreams won't come true. Something greater will. So I want you to make sure that just because life has thrown us a curveball, and maybe it's not the way we would all wanted it, you can't let this keep you from reaching your dreams or your goals, or like Kobe stated, something greater. As you continue in your journey through life, there will be adversity, and the character of a person comes through in the way that they react or overcome adversity. As educator, businessman, and author of a very popular book, 7 Habits of Effective People, Stephen Covey stated, just as we develop our physical muscle through overcoming opposition, such as lifting weights, we develop our character muscles by overcoming challenges and adversity. Don't let this situation keep you from achieving your dreams and goals. Use it as motivation. Let it drive you to keep you moving forward and obtaining everything you want in life. I know for a fact, and I've witnessed firsthand, many of you overcoming adversity and challenges over the last 4 years. While doing so, you have become better students, better sons and daughters, better brothers and sisters, better athletes, better performers, and better people. All this is happening through your decision making, your efforts, and more importantly, your hard work, and it's been a part of your journey. In closing, today may not have been the day we dreamed of or even imagined a few months ago, but the meaning and the value of your diploma and success doesn't change. Use the skills and knowledge that you've acquired from your time at High, along with your hard work, perseverance to achieve your dreams. As you receive your diploma, know that I speak for the entire faculty and staff when I say that we are very proud of you. Let today be the start of the next chapter of your lives, and know that you will always be a part of the High tribe. Dr. Hanlon, in recognition of records and achievements of the students of this class, and by the virtue of authority vested in me as principal of Wicomico High School, I certify that these students before us have met the graduating requirements established by the Maryland State Board of Education in Wicomico County Public Schools. Accordingly, it is my pleasure to recommend and present to you for the conferring of diplomas for the graduating class of 2020.
Mr. Green, in recognition of the records and achievements of the students of this class, and by the virtue of the authority vested in me as superintendent of the Wicomico County Public Schools, it is my pleasure to certify and accept for the conferring of diplomas the graduates of Wicomico High School, class of 2020. Congratulations.
Aaliyah Rochelle Laughlin. Daniel Leonard Davis. Taylor Ann Jacobs. Dennis Matthew Killian. Nohemi Rebecca Morales Infante. Hunter Mitchell Adams. Aubriana Faith Albright. Keisha Zaretta Alston. Diego Rafael Alvarez Montes. William James Amron. Summer Ray Arsenal. Anderson Nicholas Kelly Arthur. Jason William Austin Jr. Samuel David Avila Jr. Lydia Mary Frances Bailey. Sierra Marie Baker. Keyshawn Amir Banks. Nevaeh Capri Banks. Navia Nashe Barnes. Kanessa Baralt. Tyler Lee Beach. D'Angela Samad Beckett. France Belmont II. Jessica Grace Bernstein. Lais Gomez Bontempo. Wendy Bougier. Jasmine Lorraine Bratton. Jaden Lamar Bratton. Ubanji Tyru Brewer Jr. Marcus Jaden Bryce. Janiyah Deshae Brickhouse. Shakayla Najee Carey Brinson. Breon Lemire Brown. Deron Lee Burton, Jr. Jaden Victoria Campbell. Denia Alanshe Cannon. Jaden Charlie Carroll. Brian James Cheney. Reese Songpil Chang. Jamal Alexander Charles. Neftali Mecca Charles. Rosette Charles. Davion Jamar Childs. Danielle Marie Clarkson. Kaylee Michelle Clendenin. Dante Jamal Collins. Cassidy Elaine Caldwell. Jasmine Rose Conway. Trinity Monet Copeland. Jordan Vincent Cordell. Grisbeth Langford Cornish, Jr. Jessica Autumn Chrisman. DeAndre Marquise Cutler. Tatiana Monet Cutler. Rebecca Claudine Daughterless. Brandon Demetrius DeShiel. Eric Ethan Datesman. Alaje Monet Davis. Brittany Renee Davis. Daquan Anthony Davis. Jordan Renee Davis. Violet Elizabeth Davis. William John Davis. Alexandra Pilar Delgado. Christina Paloma Delgado. Jakayla Cheyenne Dew. Kenny Doltz. Franklin James Donaway Jr. Janira Kaisha Drummond. Martinez Drummond Jr. Alexis Marie Ennis Hastings. Nevin Ephraim Inaka. Wajia Fatima. Caitlin Renee Ferruccio. Avion Tamir Fisher. Jordan Keith Fayol. Bethany Ray Gieslin. David Hawk Gieslin. Alex Thomas Gill. Gabriella Marie Georgie. Jared Christopher Good. Rihanna Kristen Lynn Gordon. Tyler Lee Graham. Seth Michael Green. Shakira Tamar Green.
Brendy Christine Harrison. Jacob Joseph Harbison. Xavion Nazir Hardy. Aaliyah Lachelle Harris. Carl Antonio Harris Jr. Stefan Lee Harris. Coleman Hasker. Leandra Trinity Hayes. Edward Long Hayward III. Jaquasia Renee Hinman. Deshaun Lamar Hodges. Aaron Madison Taylor Hoffman. Kiera Ayana Holland. Rusan Raymond Holland. Samantha Marie Holland. Leanna Rochelle Holmes. David Gideon Horsey. Caleb Bernard Horton. Madison Brooke Hauk. Jacoby Donnell Hudson. Nazir Amir Husband. Elijah Coral Jabagat. Joshua Seth Jackson. Rebecca Lynn Jackson. Howard Warren Jackson IV. Xavier Lorenzo James. Yuki Noor Afifa Jamiko. Sandra Jean Baptiste. Stanley Frandu Jean Baptiste. Devon Eugene Johnson. Raymond Levon W. Johnson. Jordan Lee Jones. LaShayla Chantel Nyana Joseph. Walensky Claudie Joseph. Sarah Brooke Jodry. Christopher Andrew Justice. Fazan Kasif. Brittany Ann Kelly. Anthony Lee Kelly. August James Kennedy. Olivia Jane Kenny. Miriam Asif Kawaja. Duncan Nadira Guerrero. Nicholas Walter Kober. Tobias Chase Kukendall. Mason Haro Larney. Alexia Marie Larimore. Andy Lee. Kalia Ashanti Leatherberry. Colin Christian Lemp. Jaden McKinley Levette Lewis. Mackenzie Lee Lewis. Hania Jocelyn Lopez. Jasmine Alexis Love. Ajane Rakira Maddox. Jude Alexander Majetti. Robert Joseph Baum Marshall. Autumn Renee Massey. Andre Devon Matthews. Shmira Najee Matthews. Selena Nicole McCargo. Robert Lee McGrath III. Mackenzie Lynn McIntyre. Devlin J. McMichael. Lindsay Morgan Nicole Mears. Jorge Marino Andrade. Rose Diana Mesador. Damon Gerard Moore Jr. Jessica Guadalupe Moracho Ponce. Brady Colin Morrison. Carmen Denise Morton. Keon Alexander Moses. Kyra Jade Murray. Ryan Matthew Nauman. Mark Robert Ney. Camden Wen. Johnsley Onus.
Deasia Marie Parker. Elizabeth Marie Parr. Neil Patrick Patterson. Christian Lee Perdue. Devin Kai Perez. Stephanie Odalis Perez Morales. Gavin Joshua Peters. Ed Lamar Gethro Petian. Liana Kalia Petit. Zachary Ryan Pizzica. Eubens Philogene. Josias Eli Jihad Pierre. Tana Pierre Louise. Jaron Elijah Pittman. Alexis Monet Point du Jour. Charitable Pompilius Jr. Sydney Christine Powell. Christian Alexander Price. Madison Ann Pruitt. Daquan Marquise Purnell. Bradley Ray Quillen III. Christian Ramirez Tula. Karina Ramos Vega. Tamara Catalina Renales. Gabriella Karen Rollins. Elias Dale Rose, Jorday Mahasia DeLeanne Rose, Jameson St. Jean, Anderson Sanchez Lopez, Victor Manuel Sandoval Fuentes, Roxana Melissa Saravia, Ronche Corey Satchel Jr., Amira Nayeva Savage, Melissa Ann Schilling, Alyssa Nicole Schoolman, Janias Serrano, Cameron Riley Sessoms, Nicholas Richard Lee Shell, Joshua James Shockley Jr., Jada Murray Smith, Catrell Jaheim Smith, Brianna Nicole Stevenson, Shania Lene Stevenson, Noah Devon Stewart, Colleen Elizabeth Sullivan, Max Lee Sweeney, Muhammad Sadiq Terror, Maribel Tellis, Megan Ashley Thomas, Steve Tyus, Cindy Tovar Morales, Eric Tula Hernandez, Kamari Alexandra Tull, Kamariona Monet Tull, Vance Walter Usselton, Markiana Nate Vargas, Hallie Elizabeth Vaughn. Melanie Giselle Velasquez. Stanford Vickers Jr. Camille Antoinette Waters. George Marquel Waters. Talise Christina Michelle Westcott. Vanessa Hope Whaley. Ralasia Chantel Whittington. Tyra Raquel Williams. Ian Alexander Wilson. Anthony Jerome Wilson Jr. Ibreja Kimira Wright. Darren Michael Wyant. Layla May Young. Lisbeth Zagal Terrones.
Dear class of 2020, well, here we are. It's definitely not how we imagined it, but we can say those 3 words you've been desperately waiting to hear. We made it. Sure, it's not as glamorous as we had hoped, with the masks and gloves and everything, but hey, at least we're here, right? You can dance around at home or in your car or wherever you're hearing this and just think, 4 years later, we're finally here. It might not be the same as the graduation we had dreamt about at the Civic Center for so long, but look, we're still standing. We are still getting our diplomas, and we are still graduating on to the next big thing. We've come so far from the small freshmen we used to be, the ones who couldn't tell where B building was and who got lost up and down the halls. As growing sophomores, we finally found our footing in the school, and we're now able to tell the new underclassmen to go find the pool on the roof, just like the upperclassmen once did to us. Then we became the panic-filled juniors, worried about the SAT and ACT scores that seemed to be taking over our lives at the moment. We were graduating next year. That was a big deal. All we could think about was the next step. But that was next year's problem, right? We may have grown from the little freshmen we used to be, but there will never be a change in that crowded and chaotic C building intersection. Senior year, we sure didn't expect it to go like this, huh? We never would have imagined that the last time we saw each other would be on a random Friday in March. The last words some of us said to each other being, "See you in 2 weeks," just as if nothing was wrong. Little did we know that that was the last time we would see each other in those halls for the year. Our lives won't be defined by this moment in time where everything seems to be on hold. Our futures are not on hold, and we cannot be held back. This will not be our breaking point. Our paths into the future may be uncertain, but that doesn't mean we stand idly by and watch it pass us in a flash. As Maya Angelou once said, we may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. Through all of this, we decide how we keep going. We decide that our lives continue forward. These might be some crazy times we found ourselves in, but there's never been anything that could hold us back, and nothing will ever hold us back. With our many faces and personalities in our class, we will all diverge into different paths. Who knows where we might go next? Just know that our lives are not limited to just college or the options laid out in front of us. Follow your heart and choose what you love. Life isn't all about how many zeros you have on your paycheck or how many degrees you earn, but it's about the happiness and love you choose instead. Remember that you can choose your own path to happiness instead of following what anyone tells you. We've had our fair share of people sizing us up and telling us that we are that kind of school. You know what I mean. But we are amazing. You are amazing. Rock that blue and gold pride and don't let anyone tell you who to be or what you are. Graduates, our time at Y High has definitely been a unique one. We will never forget our senior year. We will never forget the sound of Campus Patrol yelling at us to move along, folks, as we try to push past the huge wall of people in C Building, or the way we dodge past Ms. Matthews to avoid getting dress coded for those maybe too short shorts. The homecomings in the cafeteria with the strobe lights, the jokes that prom would be on the moon with how much money we raised from our bingo night, our winning streaks in the marching band competitions, only because of the class of 2020, and maybe Mr. Page's too. The constant playing of Old Town Road and Baby Shark in the stands of the football games from the band. The basketball team winning countless times and filling our hearts with a competitive spirit every year. And the many, many TikToks some of you watched instead of studying for the next test. There are too many memories to say in only just one remembrance. Even through all of that, we won't forget that it was left partially unfinished. And it's okay to be disappointed that we missed out on all of those last memories. But we still have plenty of time in our lives to make more. No matter what comes our way, we will never forget the friends we made, the love we shared, and the joy we hold for our tribe. Our chapter may have ended a bit abruptly, like a cliffhanger to a good show or movie. But those cliffhangers always make us want to find out how this all ends, so what now? The cliffhanger doesn't just end here, right? No way. It's time for us to turn the page. Our greatness will still continue on to the future as long as we keep writing and unraveling our next big adventure. This isn't how our story ends. This isn't how the protagonists are struck down. This is nothing more than a challenge for us to defeat. This was the plot twist of our senior year. But there's so much more to come. This is our beginning. Today is only the beginning.